Welcome back, everyone. We're now live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. My last client was calling in, but now I have with me in studio live, I have with me Jeffery Barnes, and he's the owner of Triple Digit Communications. Tell everybody a little bit about, this is the second time you're on, so welcome back to the show. Come on up here. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do. And it's interesting because you always say, the last time that you were on, one of the things that you said was, every time you were talking, I never send out an invoice to anybody.
Yeah, I'm free.
Tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
On the business side, I'm free. So, Triple Digit Communications, our company is a business telecom brokerage firm. So what that means is we work with businesses of all size, whether it be, I think last time I used an example of a hairstylist that had two business lines, one for their credit card and one for to answer phones.
That's me.
There you go. And the other one would be, like we worked with Honeywell Aerospace, which has tens of thousands of employees and several locations all over the world. So that's a big gamut. We do all kinds of telecom. We do everything from voice services to internet services, networking, network security, Internet of Things, of course cloud, which is a big term right now. You name it, we can do it. Anything that touches your computer or your phone and goes outside into the real world, we can do that. We can do it all over the world.
So, okay, let me talk about you. Because if I remember correctly, it's sort of like, if you could sit down and talk to almost any business, small or large, and sit down and talk to them about how they run their business, what they use, the different types of, technology, who they work with. If you could sit down with all of them for, like, let's say half an hour, whatever it is, you can help them save money.
Oh, of course.
This is what I want to talk about.
And it's not only saving money, it's also just upgrading to the latest technology, maybe making them more productive by adding an app here or new technology there, making their network more secure. But of course, saving the money is the easy thing. I got 400 different vendors I work with, and usually when people come to me, they've had the same vendor for, 3 to 5 years, and I can either upgrade their contract, keep them on what they have, or find something new that's even better.
I think that I was talking to somebody about these things recently.
Nice.
And what I was saying is that, as us older folks, or people who are, especially if you're in business, one thing I think we don't like change, right? We don't like change. And I know it's important. It's very important, even if you can try and do all this stuff on your own, but really, you really shouldn't, because number one, you're not as knowledgeable as you are, but also you don't have the time. Right, time is a big essence here.
Time is huge. If you are a business and you want to do a thorough search, I usually see them talk to 4 or 5 vendors, and that takes months to get all the information out of these people. And of course, the vendors, whether it be CenturyLinks or Cox or Net2Phone or any of these companies, they're always going to be pushing their agenda. They're going to try to fit you into what they have to sell. Whereas I have 400 different vendors. I'm vendor agnostic. I should stop saying I. It's we, Triple Digit Communications. We are vendor agnostic, which means that we know what's good, we know what's bad, we know what's going to fit into the way you operate your business.
And you have choices, right?
Choices, yes.
And I'll tell you something. I know that I hate to say this, okay, but like, let's say our internet. Some people have a couple of different choices, but they don't all seem very good. I have to be honest with you.
Especially, we don't do residential unless it's like work from home type of a situation.
But a lot of people do. I'll use me as an example. I do have a business, but I that's where I work out of. Sure. Do most of that part of it there.
The internet, it's funny because people automatically think, it's all regionalized. But for example, in Arizona, I think I mentioned CenturyLink, which is now called Lumen, on the business side of the house. Residential, still CenturyLink, Cox, and they think that's about it. There are literally, 50 plus in the Phoenix area that you can get internet services through. People don't know that. Not a lot of them do advertising on TV. because they're focused only on business.
Right. But I think it's important, though, they should, because I tell you, there are a lot of people who did start businesses and who knew, like, turn around and 13 years later, you really have a viable business. And now with COVID, I'm going to ask you this question now. Is that okay?
Sure.
Is that, so a lot of people now are working out of their homes just because out of necessity. For when I did it, it was a necessity too, just because I had my kids home, right? But now it's even a different situation, but it's the same, it applies the same.
Exactly. I have people working for me that work out of their home. There's a new term. My industry has what's called TLAs, 3-letter acronyms. For everything. But these two acronyms, there's WFH and WFA. Work from home and work from anywhere. Work from anywhere would be the mobile person who goes on site to a client or is at a hotel or at the golf course. I actually closed a deal years ago.
Some of the biggest ones.
While I was coaching third base.
Yeah.
So, thanks to my BlackBerry.
But I think that's okay. But here's the thing, and we're just talking here. I love it.
Right.
Is that that we can now. We can. I mean, and that's what's really neat is that we can do that. That's one thing that I would say I like about technology. Like today, what happened to me, I was able to get it all together within less than 3 minutes, and I forgot something, and I was able to put it all together, right? But the only thing that I don't like, and there's a lot that I can say right here, is that so many things go wrong. We talked about the hacking earlier. We talk about so much.
Security.
All of this that really makes it difficult, and especially when you're a business owner and you're a sole proprietor, that even makes it worse. Because now you can't do your work because you're sitting there freaked out because somebody just got into whatever it is or whatever happened or it's not working. Your computer went down, your internet went down, right? It happens all the time.
I think I mentioned before, people take for granted that a phone is still a phone, but it's not actually a phone. You have a phone number, but nowadays phones are mini computers. They also have an IP address, just like your computer does, and just like your iPhone or your whatever you're using, Android, whatever. So what happens is it basically acts like a computer and can be hacked as well. Network security is so critical, so crucial. And when people send people home to work from home, they're usually working, using their own internet and a cell phone or whatever, and they forget about the network security piece of it.
Right.
And we can give free assessments for that.
And also too, I mean, we're talking about people that have a business, have big businesses, small businesses. Maybe they're not working out of their homes. They have offices, but they all have equipment, right? And they all use phones and they all use services, and that's where you come in.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
And did you mention earlier about no one ever gets an invoice from me?
Yeah, you did. I did. Actually, I started off with that.
That's key also to know that I get paid by courtesy of the vendors that I choose for my clients. Usually when you work with, again, CenturyLink, Cox, whatever, you're going to work with a direct sales rep. Again, they're going to try to sell you their services, of course, and I'm vendor agnostic. Another thing is, once the sale is made, good luck finding them. I'm going to be there. I have customers that I still talk to once a month since the day I started this company 13 years ago, last Wednesday, as a matter of fact.
That's right. Happy 13th anniversary.
Thank you. I kind of forgot about it, except on LinkedIn, I guess it popped up and it was on St. Patrick's Day. So.
That's cool. Now, I'm 14 years in August. Go ahead.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, I love it.
And you know what's really neat is that you started something too, maybe out of a necessity, but you found a need for people. And what awesome is that you have, well, I should say a plethora of different, what do you call them? The people that you work with that are that you can go to. Vendors. Vendors.
Well, and vendors, I call them vendors because sometimes they're phone vendors, sometimes they're voice vendors, they're internet vendors, network vendors. So I just say vendors, technology vendors.
So, and what I want to say is that if you own a business, and I could talk all day, right, about
Me
business.
too.
I think a lot of people could, really.
Sure.
Because we all deal, especially if you're hands-on with this part of it, right? Especially if you're doing all of this work yourself, and when things go wrong, or you know what, you're tired of paying the high bills, or whatever it is that you're dealing with, Jeffrey can help in that. Jeffrey can come in and it's a free service to you. So it makes sense. It just makes sense. I'm saying these things a lot these days to give them a call. Let me give out the phone number. It's 393-0550. It's tripledigitcom.com. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and he works internationally. Hang tight. We're going to be back in just a minute. Did I talk too much?
No.
Feel like we're okay with it?
No,
We're
no,
still
no.
live. So let me ask you a couple of questions, okay?
Okay.
So
I feel like my chair is shrinking down.
it might be.
It is.
Oh my God.
There we go. Oh, this is how tall I really am. I don't know how that, well, maybe it's because
I
I'm
didn't
way-
even notice it until I was just looking at you.
Well, I
you know.
looked and all of a sudden the microphone's up here. Like, how did that happen?
Well, I'll tell you my story with the guy that I'm going to introduce you
Okay.
to. Don't forget to let me say that to you,
Okay.
say who he is, because it's funny. So it doesn't matter, like you said, you can work with somebody who has just 2 lines in there and a computer. And I do want to ask you, I'm going to ask you the question. I don't want to talk about it here on air because it's hard,
Sure.
you know, because you don't want to put down anything. But we feel like we're stuck, you know, like we don't know, like you said, we don't know that
Right.
there's 50 other carriers. And, you know, I think we think that if it's, let's say, the biggest one out there, whatever, for your internet,
Right.
I'll use that as saying that way, that they're the best.
Right, not necessarily.
I don't think so.
And no, everybody does things differently, so it might be the best for one business who operates a certain way, and however, they might be like the worst for another business that operates a different way. Even though I handle all types of businesses, there are certain vertical markets like call centers, medical, higher education like universities. They all kind of have their special needs. And a lot of those I'm certified in, and if not, I've got experts that work with me that are. So I'm all things to all people because of the people I work with.
Okay. And how does it look when you come in? Do you do this virtually? Do you come in and get to know the business, sit down with them, even if they work out of their home?
Yeah, I try to get to know the business. I try to still go live, or I can work virtually. I definitely want to learn the business. They'll give me their invoices. I'll also look at those and see what they've got. But yeah, I can do anyway.
So it's sort of like, and I don't know whether you do this too, you might, but they're merchant accounts. You know, everybody you got to take a look at that every once in a while because you can save money somewhere else, right?
I
So
don't
it's
do merchant accounts, but I know I do the
but
network they go over.
right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's the same process. It's almost like even insurance, right?
Changes. Yeah.
You know, we won't use the name, but the biggest name in insurance will say, "Give me 15 minutes and I'll write."
Right,
Same
right.
thing.
And yeah,
And that's what I was trying to.
And some people will just come to me and say, "Hey, I need a new phone company," and I don't do any real consulting there. I'm like, "Okay, why?" We just need to save money. It's cost too much.
Right.
I heard so and so is using this company. Can you check them out? I'm like, sure. But usually I'll come in and literally find out how they're doing business. That means get ready. Wrap it up.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Jeff Barnes, and he's the owner of Triple Digit Communications. Jeff, you know that I don't know why. Of course, I just had something happen to me,
Right.
so I'm all over this. But I also am a business owner, so of course I know I want to save money wherever I
Sure.
can. And we were talking at the break a little bit about how you work with people, how you get to know them, and how you can, right now, especially with COVID, how does it work when you come in? I mean, how do you help them save money and get a better internet and all of that?
Right. Well, it depends on what they want. And saving money is the easiest thing to do because they have so many choices that mostly they don't know about.
Right.
I can usually even save them money if they stay with the same carrier. Again,
Right.
why would they want to go in and say, "Hey, we can save you money," and kind of cannibalize their existing services? Well, I think that's the right thing to do, but a lot of times it takes someone like myself to go in there and go, "Hey, why are you paying for this? Like, you didn't tell me you had 3 toll-free numbers. Oh, we only use one of them, but we've been paying for the other 2." Just
Right.
small things like that, which add up. Mobile, wireless mobile. There are companies now that I partner with that will literally have access to T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, everybody, and what they'll do is they'll take over, not take over, but they'll have insight into your into your whole wireless, the whole company. They'll manage it for you, and they might 2 weeks into the month change you to a different plan because they think you're going to save money because all of a sudden you're starting to call internationally, or maybe you're doing business somewhere else, or I don't know. There's all
I
sorts
just
of
think
reasons.
that it's important for this, and I say it all the time for every show. I know I say it a lot, but I can't help myself. The best part about the show, of course, to me, is the information that
Right.
people get on it, right? And it's the same for you. What you would say, if you sit down with me, you're going to just learn some information about some things that I might be able to help you with. You may not realize what you're paying for. You probably have been with that company for a long time,
Right.
because a lot of us like to
Like you said,
keep us
afraid
in-
to change.
afraid to change, or more than anything, I just think that we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So you have, it's a lot of people might be with a company and we don't know that. Okay, like like I said before, they think it's the best just because it
Right.
is such a big brand name, but it doesn't necessarily mean so.
No, and guess what? I didn't mention this before, but it's pretty rare, but there are times where, and again, I'm free, so it's easy for me to do this. I'll come in and find what they're doing, and even if they've been doing it for a while, I'm gonna look at their situation and come back and say, guess what? You're on the best possible plans and technology that you could be on at this point.
Right, but how many people really does that happen with? I think that most
Rarely,
people don't,
but yeah.
because most of the time, I mean, between the phone, right?
Yeah,
You got your internet that you pay for, right? All the services that you have, that you pay inside and out with that. What else?
Applications, you've got new technology, like you said, network security, the cloud. Instead of having equipment in your phone room, like you used to see all the time, now everything's located in the cloud. As a matter of fact, a lot of the older technology, people don't know this, especially smaller business, is going away. You'll notice that old, what they call POTS lines, which was the CenturyLink copper wire lines, they're starting to raise their prices because they don't want people to use them anymore. They want them to go to the cloud or go to wireless or fiber or
I'm
some other
sorry,
technology.
I still think I'm scared. I'm one of the scared ones out there.
Oh, don't be scared at all. I mean, everybody should be prepared to change. I don't want to scare anybody.
No, but here's the thing,
that's why they
okay?
need me.
I'm the old folk person, right?
Right.
And I'm going to say, all right, so obviously we have to back up, right? And like I have backups in here, I know you
Sure.
have to back up. That's really, really important. But the thing is that, like, you have to have it on paper. I mean, to me, you have to have it on paper, right? Because somewhere you have to see it. So, like me, I
Right.
thought I had everything in my computer, and I found out that wasn't the right, smartest thing to do. That even though I had one place where it was not able to get to, I had
Right.
another place where I could easily access it, but that also made it easier
Sure.
for somebody else to access to it. But honestly, though, I felt like it should need to. I still feel like I need to be able to have it tangible.
No, I agree with that. It's just the way of life. Some people do that. Some people still use sticky notes and put them all over their computer. Which
You
is
should
kind of
see
ironic.
my sticky notes. Go ahead.
But speaking of backing up things and the cloud, that kind of goes hand in hand, because instead of having tape drives or disk drives or whatever to back, hard drives to back things up with, usually the company's network now, you can back it up in the cloud. You don't need to pay for that stuff anymore, and the small businesses can do what the big businesses used to only be able to do.
Wow.
You can back up all your stuff on the cloud, and you can just literally, if you get hacked, you can wipe everything clean and start over again and have all your information back in front of you. But it's nothing like a piece of paper, is there?
To me, but I also learned not just a piece of paper, but a pencil, not a pen.
Exactly.
Because everything
Makes
changes. You
sense.
have to change your password all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that's that's the hardest part of the whole
Well,
thing.
here's a tip, by the way. For passwords, there's an app. There's plenty of apps that you can, that way you only have to remember one password. That's how to get in that app. I've got hundreds of passwords saved on this app, and I always forget them. I can never remember everything. You know, some of it's your old dog's name.
Me
or
too.
something.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, another thing that I thought I'd mention, last time I was here, we mostly spoke about how I do business, but I've been thinking also it's important to know why I do business. We didn't really
Why
talk
do you
about-
do business?
Good question. I need the money really bad. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I've been in this industry for 35 years. I started when they were breaking up the phone company, selling long distance for Sprint, when I had no gray hair and no glasses and all that stuff, but a young buck back then. And then I did this one, I had a vertical market where I was helping K through 12 schools, and I was helping them get internet. Sometimes they didn't have internet. Next thing you know, I set it up where they're doing video conferencing to another classroom in Russia. So in some schools, I became the internet guy, and I didn't care about the money. I was like, wow, I'm really helping somebody. I'm Triple Digit Communications. We are Triple Digit Communications, but 2 years ago, I started to closely partner with a company called OTG Consulting. And it's a consortia of people like me, past executives in the industry, experts. We all kind of have our different way. Twice a day, at least, we meet together and talk about what's new, who's the best that does this. And we kind of bounce things off each other. We all own our own business, but we partner together. And I like helping people. I really do. It sounds corny, but the money's going to come if you're doing it for the right reason. I'm not going to force a square peg into a round hole. I'm going to do what's best for the business. I spoke to somebody this morning, and I have 426 vendors. And I found a vendor that was not on my list that seemed to be the best for him. And I just said, hey, I'm not getting paid on this, but this is the right thing to do. It's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
help you.
neat. But, and now, I think that people need to understand that for you, you do get paid. You get paid by the vendors, they help you.
Yes.
But it makes sense to have you come in and have a little talk, see where they're at, see where you could possibly save them money, and you may not, sometimes you turn around and say, you know what, you're on the right track. And if
Yeah.
you're not, that you might just be pleasantly surprised to be able to save money or do something different than the way you're doing it, because it might also save you time or
Right.
whatever, right? So his website is tripledigitcom.com. The phone number is 480-393-0550. He's A+ rated with the BBB. This is a free service to you out there. He works internationally, and he just had his 13-year anniversary the other day.
Yes.
What else you want to talk about?
Well, there's so much to talk about. I know, again, the cloud is important, network security.
I know what I
and-
wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Here's on this one here. You had asked one of the questions that were on the last time
Right.
was, who is your biggest competition?
I don't truly have a exact competitor, and what I mean by that, there's other people that do what I do, but they might have 5 agreements in place, or they might charge for their consulting services. There are people that do what I do, but it's kind of rare to find somebody that's free, who's an expert and a past executive in the industry, and also has access to over 400 vendors. So I guess my true competitor would be the direct sales forces for CenturyLink, Cox, and all the other companies. But I was there at one time too, so
You
I
know,
understand.
but the thing about, it's like anything else, okay? When we talk about, I'm just going to say the word insurance, right? For
Right.
whether it could be Medicare, it could be anything, but we see on television, you'll see the
Sure.
ads, and we go for a lot of times people, no matter what, will go for those big people. They don't know the difference.
Cool
So
commercials,
cool-
there's like a little animal in it
Right,
or something. Yeah.
right. And so they use them. And I think that we need to understand that, especially having somebody local, that's another thing
Right.
too. You're local here, and when things go wrong, and I gotta say, I have to be honest with you, I hate when things go wrong.
Oh, me too.
And they go
always
wrong
do.
a lot. And it's a lot. It's not a little, it's a lot. And when it happens, and then you have to make that phone call, and even just dialing the phone makes it hard because of the way that they have it done. Being able to call you, leave a message if you're not there, but you will call back, and you are there to talk to with all of your clients. What are your final words, real quick?
My final words are, even if you don't think you know me, or need me, I should say, give me a call, set up an appointment, go to my website. I will happily come out and talk to you for free, and be truthful and make sure that you're in the best possible situation and save you money.
His phone number is 480-393-0550. The website is tripledigitcom.com. This is a free service to you. It makes sense to call and find out where you stand, where he could possibly save you time and money. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. He works internationally, and it's tripledigitcom.com.
Thanks, Carol.